Right, well, welcome back to the Live Football Podcast. We're here today with quite a few Man United fans, and which will be our main talking point. After a steady August for most teams, it feels like one team is in a crisis. That is.
Well, who'd like to start talking about United's crisis then between you three?
Well,
Tom, would you like to go negatively?
You go first, lad. You've got some good ideas.
I'm not sure if there's really a place to start.
I think start
with all our problems. Should we start with the game?
Yeah, start with the game. Start with that's kind of like the start of it, isn't it? Really.
It's
Well,
Yeah.
Wolves game,
To be
done
fair,
it.
with the game in total, I wouldn't say there was an individual performance that was poor. Because I think it's just one of those games where we're at the Emirates, and then we lose. But if you reverse it, that's at Old Trafford. I think we win that game. So I'm not too annoyed with any performances.
And Johnny Evans at the back in the last 90 minutes. No wonder why you lost.
Yeah, but that's our fourth and fifth choice centre back.
Better job than them.
I'll just say that Declan Rice shot isn't going in until Maguire sticks his leg out.
I think we should Johnny Evans.
It says enough.
Or Johnny, it deflected off Johnny Evans.
It's Johnny Evans.
It's Maguire, wasn't it?
No,
Evans is on the floor.
Evans.
Manhandled by
Evans.
Gassis.
Gabriel and Evans were fighting, and then fucking Maguire come running out like this as he does.
It's the United mentality to
That
blame
Donny.
Maguire.
The Roblox hype.
Well,
How did you find the game in general, like all of you?
do you know what? For me, I thought the game was poor. I think it showed where both teams are at the minute. Like for us, I think we've been really slow starters this year, and it took us the amount of chances we had probably to score. Kai Havertz again missing the ball. He's good at that. Saka the straight at Onana. We could have been it could have been 3 or 4 for us before it got made interesting. But United looked good at points, but liked to sit in. So I don't really know where you guys see it, but I thought it was a poor game in general, to be honest. And then it just had that 5 minutes of flair where Garnacho's are offside, and then we scored.
Well, I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I'm in big trouble.
I think coming from a neutral point, I saw positives from both teams. So the positive for you guys was like scoring the goal and getting the Emirates crowd behind you.
Yeah.
And then you started to show signs of you guys gelling.
Yeah.
And then for United, like just giving Højlund, he would look like a really good impact coming on.
He looked
And
good, yeah.
I think he was what United have
10
needed.
minutes, the Martial could muster in 70. That says enough for me.
Yeah,
He's just physical.
within a long time, which is what you need.
He's
young.
He
Probably.
did give Gabriel a fight. He definitely, to be honest, I said this all the way through. Martial, you may as well have not have had him.
Well, exactly. He's awful.
And I think
On his ass, waiting for his paycheck. And that is what Martial does, and he's done it his whole career since his first season. He scores that one goal against Liverpool, and that was it. He couldn't be bothered. I've never seen a player with so much talent who's then lazy, and then he's got an attitude problem as well. As soon as one thing goes wrong, such as getting played out of position because he didn't want to be on the left under Mourinho, that's it. He's dumb. He's out the pram. He's so frustrating because he's a talented player. But we can say the same with Rashford as well. Through the middle, Rashford has a strop because he doesn't like it through the middle. You're a footballer. You've got a job to do. You're a forward. You should be able to play on any side of the pitch, no matter what. You should be able to use 2 feet. You should be able to play through the middle or play on the wings, and they can't do it. So I don't know what these players expect.
I think
I've
seen a clear difference between both teams. Like Arsenal, they're playing like a team. They're in a bit of a transition because they've got new players settling in.
Yeah.
They're playing like a team. United, they're just playing like spoilt brats. There's no like team cohesion or anything like. Everyone's just
playing individual brilliance.
The player that really turned up on Sunday was Dalot. I thought he was brilliant. He scored at every point in time.
I feel bad for Onana. I think he will be a good keeper, but I think people slate him too early because of the pressure that he's had to come in from a legacy De Gea's left behind.
Do you think next game you bring Casemiro into the back line and Amrabat into midfield rather than have Maguire and Evans?
No, because Leach should be back, and so
it depends on who's back.
If let's just say in a scenario they're not back and you've got Johnny Evans and Maguire, you bring Casemiro into the back and then
100%.
Forfeit the game if you're going to be.
It's against Brighton as well. We're playing Brighton next.
Is that
Kevin Sharp in 11th. Cool.
Brighton?
Oh, no.
It is at home, but we're getting cooked.
Oh, Neil Mopay up top. Cool.
You might as well have Claude Puel as your manager if you're having Evans and Maguire at the back.
Oh, exactly.
Can't get away with
Gonna
that.
do it back.
Top.
Left behind.
But yeah, I thought in general, the game lacked quality, apart from probably the Rashford finish and then the Odegaard, and then the rest of the game, it was lacking quality throughout. Like the amount of times you got behind us and you just gave the ball away, you had a lot of chances on the counter attack. I thought, and
yeah.
I think another player that doesn't turn up at the minute is Antony. He stinks.
Well,
And we can talk about him for more
I don't
reasons,
expect
but he
him to stay
stinks.
much longer, if I'm going to be totally honest with you, boys. Reading from what obviously we've all seen what's been said, we can't speak too much on it because we don't want to spread information that might not be true, because then all us are in the mud. So we won't speak too much. But don't know, Will, you've got anything to say about Antony or anything? Because I know you've got quite good ball knowledge and outside ball knowledge.
Antony, I mean, in terms of on the pitch, I just think he has been disappointing so far. He's so one-dimensional, isn't he? And I think in the Premier League, I mean, he's only had one season. I'll tell you what, one thing though, I bet Sancho's already regretting putting that statement out now, isn't he? Because he's probably looking at game time otherwise now. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. You've got a problem there with Antony and Sancho, but it'll be interesting to see.
100%. I think Sancho has definitely shot himself in the foot. I can't lie, Sancho isn't stupid enough to not see what has been happening with Antony. Everyone knows it. There's no way the players don't know about it. So why on earth would you go and say, oh, I'm getting made a scapegoat, when you've got a chance to get back into the team? You've now lost that position to someone like Pellistri, and to be honest, I do want to see Pellistri flourish. I think he's a quality player. Give him a chance, he'll be good. And it's the same with Diallo. Give him a chance, he'll be good. But obviously Diallo's injured until start of next year, I believe I've read. It's about 4 month injury, so
Is that from the season game against us?
No, it was the one against Lyon, I think, or was it Lyon? One of the French teams you played.
It was the Lens.
I remember in the game against us, he went to the floor and he got subbed off. He came on at half time and then he got subbed off in the second half. So I thought it was from that.
Oh, I can't remember now.
Yeah,
not sure.
But yeah, I think let's move on a little bit more to let's see what the boys think. Let's talk about the Glazers, shall we? Which one of you want to start that one off? Because me and the Villa fan over here are quite happy with our owners at the minute. It sounds like you're not.
Where do you start on the Glazers? Where do you want to start?
They pulled their pants down.
Where do you?
To feel
point of view, you can't put a club up for sale and then start retracting on your statements. It's not right, because you can't start and say, okay, we want this amount, and then go this amount. You've put a set. We're not talking a few quid. We're talking billions. And now they want 10 billion for a club that they've been taking 2 billion out of themselves.
Well, it's like the statement that came out was it yesterday or this morning, where you'd lost, you were on a record loss for the last year. What owner looks at that and goes, yeah, I want to buy that club.
And like your shares at like $18 or something a share or something like that.
That's it.
Yeah,
everything.
I think that's one of the problems though, is that you've got this overhanging the whole situation. What was it, January, since they first put out that statement? And whether they want to actually sell it or they don't, or we still don't know what's going to happen with that. But how can you have that and try and run a successful club at the same time? I'm not sure they were expecting Ten Hag to maybe win the trophy like he did in the Carabao Cup, and then maybe they thought we'll try and keep on to it now or whatnot, and now it's going wrong again and they're panicking, share prices are dropping. But I'm not sure whether they actually do want to sell it or not. But you have to find a solution to that, because you can't have that hanging over the background and try and operate as a football club.
Well, you can't. You need like Manchester United Football Club. I've never known a club not have any money. Do you know what I mean? Like, for you to have to go and get Amrabat on loan is that desperate a time. Do you know what I mean? And like Reguilon on loan, for me, if you really need a left back, if you were Manchester United, let's say 10 years ago, you would have bought the best one you probably could.
Yeah.
He's a scrap.
It's rare you see.
That is really because of FFP though, isn't it?
Like if you've seen seasons, you've always had a player on loan. Like you've had Amrabat and Reguilon just. Then you've had Weghorst last season. Igalo a few seasons ago. Like bringing these players in on loan, like that's not Man United.
That
the Man United of old, they were getting the best players from the Premier League teams and adding them to their ranks.
It's like Robin van Persie's, your fucking
Ashley Young, he come from Villa. Like,
Van der
you
Sar.
pick the best players, Rio Ferdinand, Van der Sar. Like, that was the United way. And then
Cantona.
that way just fell off. And like, I don't get, like, if they're trying to get a bit more money because you've won a Carabao Cup, that doesn't increase your club value. I'd understand if you just come off the back of winning the Champions League and the Premier League.
Treble, like
Exactly,
City,
yeah. But like, of that 10 billion quid, I would, like, that's what City's worth right now, probably. Like City, Real Madrid, they're probably like the two most valuable clubs in the world. Not United, without being disrespectful, but like winning a Carabao Cup doesn't really get you much.
In your honest opinions, where do you see this ending, if it does?
Probably.
I think they will
That's
sell.
all
I do
situation.
think they'll sell. I
They're
think
not
the end's near, yeah. Because I think if they don't, the fans are just going to get sick of it to the point where I think they'll have to go at some point, even if, you know, I don't know how bad it'll get on the pitch. It's got pretty bad the last few years, but I do think they'll have to go sooner or later now.
Well, I personally thought last year you were going to go up from where you've been. Like you seem to be a bit of, without sounding disrespectful, you're a bit of a yo-yo club at the minute. You seem to be like really good one season and then you really hit bottom. Like you'll hit like a 6th or 7th for the next season.
I think there's a ceiling though. That's what I mean. I think as long as the Glazers are here, I don't think United will ever get to the sort of level City are.
No.
Because I just don't think they've run the club well enough. In terms of, you look at the money spent, United has spent more than anyone the last 10 years, but it hasn't been spent well enough.
Exactly.
So I don't think United will ever be winning games.
You look at your signings. You've still got you've until the summer. You still have Phil Jones on your books, for God's sake.
Exactly, yeah.
65 million.
It's a stupid contract. The
I think
problem-
We're paying the players.
I don't think certain situations have helped the club as well. For example, the Mason Greenwood stuff, that's not helped.
Yeah.
Ronaldo situation as well.
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
There's a lot.
It's too drama infused off football.
It's not.
It's like every single month there's something new.
For me, it's all the Glazers in a sense because it's the players on the pitch have to produce. And
Definitely,
don't
yeah.
get me wrong, the Glazers haven't not stopped spending. Let's be honest. Like you paid 65 million for Mason Mount this summer. Like they've not stopped spending. It's not like
They're
they're
not
just
spending their money.
Spending our money, innit?
To be fair though, like with this FFP, you're not selling well. Like
No.
you haven't got someone.
Gone.
This is where I take it to your board. Is it Richard Murto or something like that?
Yeah, so
John
yeah,
Murray, yeah.
Richard Arnold, John Murray.
He can't sell water to a guy in a desert. Like
Oh no.
he can't sell anything. Like if you're getting rid of the likes of Jones and like on freeze and then loans and £1 million for like Iqbal or something, like where's this money going to come from FFP? Unless you get like a big sale, you're going to drop.
That was your reason. That was your reason you couldn't sign Amrabat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like
We needed to sell McTominay and we didn't.
You need
And
to
you've got,
sell.
you've got the wages as well.
that's it. You have you have these personalities like Maguire, McTominay. They're just content with sitting on the bench getting money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? There's a player in McTominay though, and I think he'll play for you.
Not for a top 6 club.
I think he could do a job at he could have done a job at West Ham, but he chose not to go.
Well, Bayern Munich wanted him, so if Bayern Munich think he could do a job there, I think he could do a job at a top.
But
six.
he's not good enough at football to do a job at a club.
He's just not good enough at football.
No, he just isn't. He's a good physical player. He can win his aerial duels, but the art of football of being a midfielder can't pass very well. He's an all right tackler. Yeah, he's got a shot in him, and that's about it.
Would you put him in that midfield on Sunday?
No.
No.
Would you
not
put
a
him
chance.
back on Sunday over like Evans or Maguire?
I mean, Scotland play him at centre back.
Yeah,
Oh,
look,
centre
I
back.
think he could be.
That tells you everything you need to know about him. He doesn't even play in his actual position for a team that aren't very good like Scotland.
Yeah, but
Not
Scotland are doing
quite
well.
deep.
Though. You can't say they're not really good. Scotland are flying. They're top of their group, aren't they? So.
Yeah, but
Right.
No
They've got
offense.
Spain and
It's
Norway
Scotland.
I think it's time to move on from the old Manchester United talk and let's just
Well,
do it.
one thing to add to the
Well,
with
yeah, we
regards
need,
to
really, this
the-
is a big subject, man. There's loads going on.
Go on, then, man.
United can't sell people because we give players contracts that are too much. That's the simple.
Yeah.
That's the simple
Well,
answer.
Sancho's on 350 grand a week.
You're
But
going
I-
up the template of what Arsenal did many years ago with the Alexis Sanchez and the Ozils, and it was only the case that we had to release them from contracts until we could get rid of them.
Yeah.
Like
To a more extreme level.
our highest paid player now is in the 200k mark. We used to be in the 350, 400 mark.
So
And
what
I think
would be your
Chelsea will have that issue as well, because Chelsea are giving players loads of contracts now, 6, 7, 8 years, aren't they? in a few years, not all of those signings are going to work, and then you're stuck with them for another 4 or 5 years.
Are any of them going to work?
Well, maybe we'll see.
To be honest, I look at Chelsea, and you compare United and Chelsea. Chelsea have just been boosted with the financial monster that's Todd Bowley. But you look at their spending. Yes, I can see where they're looking at. They're looking for young and going forward. But until that clicks, it's could be 2-3 years before they're even fighting for top 4.
Yeah, but look at Chelsea though. Like, they've just got a load of money from selling players to Saudi. They've just got 64 million for Mason Mount, which is double profit. Selling academy,
like 200 million. This
they've got 64 mil for Hazard. So yeah, like they've swindled both of your teams for 2 players.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
Yeah,
some horrible players as well.
I know they've spent loads of money, but that money's on long contracts, so the money gets paid over time.
Yeah, well, that's why they're doing it, isn't it?
Exactly, to get around FFP, that loophole. Yeah. Then, like, Mason Mount, he's an academy player at 65 million, double that, because FFP counts for double if it's an academy homegrown player. So, you know, like, they are getting it around FFP. Like, if the bigger clubs like United followed that model, they'd be all right. But you need a change in direction, not even just with the Glazers. You need to think business-wise with your board and whoever's in charge of your transfers. You need to think how to sell players.
Would you say
for 10 years or?
Yeah. Would you say for United fans now it's a scary time ahead this season? Where do you see it going with until Amrabat clicks, and then you've got your Højlund that's got to click? You're going to be because Højlund looked fit, but I wouldn't say he's 90 minutes in him.
No, not
yet. But we do have an international break where he can get fit, so I think after that he will be okay.
Martial, realistically, you're going to be playing Rashford, Martial, Garnacho against Brighton if Antony's not in the squad.
I think it'll be a battle for top 4 for United, and then you think based on last season, you always want to push ahead, don't you? But you know, if United are battling for top 4 again and don't win a trophy this season, it'll be regression, not progression, won't it? But if Liverpool are back.
The scary thing for you guys is the injuries. Like, your list is ridiculous, and we're only 4 games in.
Yeah. If you think though, like top 4, top 6, any European football, it's the hardest to get this season because you've got Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Newcastle, Chelsea,
Spurs,
Villa, Spurs, Brighton, Brentford,
West Ham.
That's 10 teams going to be fighting for
I
Europe.
think they're all better clubs than us as well. And I put it out there, and you call me pessimistic. They've ran better. They've got players who play in positions that are needed. And the whole structure from style of play to the manager getting the players he wants, they get it right. United don't.
I said to him,
Ten Hag wanted Reguilón. I really don't. And because we wanted Reguilón a few years ago, apparently, so that sounds like a Glazer signing. They wanted Reguilón, not Ten Hag.
But it's just a short-term move, though, isn't it, because of our injuries?
True, but why not try Alvaro Fernandez?
I thought we wanted Tagliafico.
At this stage, he's 21.
Yes, I think it was probably just nonsense because he used to manage him at Ajax. We love it.
Managed it for Bayern, so he's worked with him twice before.
Yeah, it's just crazy, Nick. But
do you see?
We do.
Like I can see like Brighton will cause you issues. First game,
they did a double over us last season.
Really tough game.
We're not winning that game.
Like I said to him the other day, like when you look at that top 10, I don't want to go to Villa Park, I don't want to go to West Ham, I don't want to go to St James's Park, let alone Old Trafford, the Etihad, Anfield. It's all tough places to go now. The only easy game that everyone seems to know about is Luton, but again, that could change.
Oh yeah, they played all right against West Ham.
Every team now, they look at Man United and they're not scared of them.
No.
Take it back 10, 15 years ago. Everyone was shit scared of United. Fergie time. Everyone's scared of them. Now every team's licking their lips. Wolves come at me with a good game. They got robbed by VAR.
Yeah.
They gave you a good game, then they bottled it. Like,
played us off the park.
Exactly.
Not Villa. Forest played us off the park until that red card.
Who did you play away?
They did for the first 10 minutes, then we slowly overcame them.
Who did you play away on the second game of the season?
Spurs.
And then Spurs battered you, really.
Got rolled over.
Spurs rolled you over. Teams are going to be looking at United now thinking, we can get 3 points out of
it. The biggest problem for Ten Hag now is that away form.
Let's see if he's got sorted. Like, what? We've got like a 30 unbeaten run at home. Away, we can't.
That'll come to an end.
Away from home, you've won once in the whole season against the top 9 last year.
Last season, yeah. Terrible.
And that was a last-minute winner, I think, wasn't it?
Where's like your leadership though? Where's the leadership in United? In the dressing room?
Bruno looked quiet on Sunday. I was shocked. I thought Bruno's generally quiet up for the game. He looked quiet on Sunday.
Yeah.
If he says anything, he'll get booked because of the new refereeing rules. So he's got to be quiet.
I think they figured him out now, which is a bit.
Yeah.
I think everyone else.
Stop
Everyone
him
knows
moaning.
that. Everyone knows what he does.
Except Villa, he always turns up against us.
No, to be fair to Bruno, he's a quality player, but as soon as you rattle him, it's easy to get into his head. He's not.
He's got a high head.
I'd say Bruno is still one of the top 5 players in the league in his position, easily.
I agree with
So
that.
I think if you give Bruno the freedom to play his game and the team are playing well, you'll see a better performance. He's not as good as De Bruyne. De Bruyne can do something like that, like out of thin air. But Bruno can do it if he's got players around him who can do it. And
yeah, let's be honest. Looking at City, they've got like De Bruyne to Haaland, De Bruyne to Grealish to Foden. Like they've got a super team. Then United, like who's Bruno passing to? Dalot,
Just Rashford.
Rashford.
No one else.
Yeah.
We've got fidget spinner Antony on the right wing who just does a few turns and runs and loses the ball.
The thing is, Bruno's the only one on our team that knows how to cross a football. No one else can do it. Maybe Ericsson, but that's about it.
I
No
don't know
one on the wing.
Ericsson was good on Sunday.
He's been good for you so far this season.
Ericsson's small
he was good, but he
cameos
can't run.
have been better than Mason Mount in every game Mount has played for so far. That is how bad of a signing Mount will end up being. He doesn't fit the system. What does Mount offer?
Mount was forced out the door.
Well, why did we spend 65 million on him then?
I think it was a weird one.
Glazers signing.
Because that's what the Glazers think works best. That's what it is. It's a full cycle.
Do you know what it is? It's pleasing the fans.
Well,
That's
What fan was pleased with
no.
Mason
But
Mount?
do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I wasn't.
big summer
That's
sign.
all.
Was?
Test and
The
getting
English
a ham
ones.
sandwich in your meal deal. You're not going to be pleased.
It's just,
I
it's a full
hate
cycle.
Mason Mount. I don't like him. I'll keep ranting about him all the time.
He's not good, Mount. He's not
And
good.
you know what the worst
He'll
thing
be
is,
pushed
Rob?
on the right wing now that he's done a
He'll
better.
come back from an injury. He probably won't play a few games, but then he'll still get in the England squad.
Well,
That's what I don't
yeah.
get.
And that's
He's
what I
another
was saying
Maguire.
before, isn't it? Wire Henderson, Maguire, players like that getting in the England team when they're not even featuring for the clubs.
I think
Big
that
bias, isn't it?
Wild.
going back to the selling on players, Dean Henderson went for pennies, didn't he, to Palace?
15
20 mil.
mil.
Well,
So-
Dean Henderson isn't very good either, is he?
Well, yeah, but you were talking last season, what, 30-40 million pound?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
That,
but
Well,
he's not good enough at football. He has the mentality of like Manuel Neuer, but like the ability of a League Two footballer.
No,
No,
on. You got
come
to
on.
No, he's not good.
He's
I
good.
Okay,
think
he
it's
can
gonna
pass
be
a ball all right.
He's not good enough for United.
You're a goalkeeper. You need to save the ball. He can't do that. And then he talks about like, oh, as soon as Ten Hag's been training, he'll want to keep me. Did he not see him in training or something? But because he went to Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace.
He'll be number one.
He's had a good season so far. We can't slam the Palace.
You're trouncing Crystal Palace like they're a bad team. They're not.
I'm not saying
Off
they're a
the
bad
beaters.
team, but
That's
that's
the issue.
You're a mid-table player. He thought he was the next Manuel Neuer.
You
He
disrespect
could have been,
them.
to be fair.
And
No.
these teams will surpass you. That's going to be the issue.
Like, let's be honest. Palace will beat you at Selhurst Park.
Oh,
he-
100% they will.
They played.
But I'm just saying
Hodgson ball.
that Dean Henderson is not a Champions League level goalkeeper, is he? And he
Well,
not.
even the second goalkeeper you've bought.
yeah, it's Turkey.
exactly because he's a second goal. But the thing is, Dean Henderson thinks he's a number one for a Champions League goalkeeper. He thinks he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world.
This
is
Like,
young.
it's okay if you're that level of goalkeeper. That's
Never
good. That's really good grit.
She's
But
not-
you need to understand and accept what you are.
Yeah, well, he wanted to number one as well, didn't he? And the problems of him leaking and stuff. I don't think he would have settled much longer not being number one.
No.
So I think the
Yeah,
club
I'm,
wanted
to be honest, I'm over the moon that Dean Henderson's gone because I'm not a big fan of him.
To be
at all.
fair, it's
He
money.
wears a hat as well. Grow up.
I think it's a good move all round because you get money for FFP. He gets to be a number one. Like
I-
you'll just have to see what he's like now as a consistent number one because he was decent at Forest last season, but then he got injured. So if he stays injury free, let him prove it.
Yeah.
I think he'll do all right at Crystal Palace because then he will be like the man over there, won't he? And
Yeah.
then fans will love him. But I think he'll do quite well. But he's definitely not a goalkeeper for Man United, and I'm very glad that he's not at my football club anymore.
No, he could prove it wrong. Like sometimes players have a late bloom in their career, could be world class. So.
Yeah.
I know I'm not
No,
wrong.
no,
No,
don't
look
quote
at Jamie Vardy.
I thought you were going for Emi Martinez there.
Look at Emi Martinez, yeah.
Oh.
Like
Yeah, but the thing is, he wasn't a late bloomer. He had that really good season at like Sheffield United, didn't he? And then he came to us, and then I got let a couple stinkers through.
Oh, fucking! Yeah, I thought you were on about Martinez. And I was like,
But yeah, that seems like a very in-depth United talk.
what's your solution though? To like, what would be your main solution to this?
There's a solution, is there?
There's too many.
Yeah,
There's
We need
too
about
many
7.
You want the Glazers out, and
Get
then
the Glazers gone. Yeah.
as soon as the Glazers go out, if you get bought by the Saudi, you're going to be seen as the superpower
Newcastle
again,
2.0.
Newcastle 2.0 or whatever like that. But you don't need to be seen as that because you're Man United. You're too big to be seen like that. You should be able to just walk on the foundations of being Manchester United, not Saudi-owned
You
Manchester.
just need a competent owner. They don't have to be like some government-run state or anything.
No.
So as long as you can spend our budget and a bit more, you're fine.
Brighton's owners be a perfect example. Look how that club is run.
you need.
Small club. Oh, and that
From
fucking,
my point of view, I can give you a few reasons. So you need a complete rebuild. I
100%.
think you need an owner who comes in and knows Man United, the United way. United for like someone who's a Man United fan, maybe who's really rich, like a Radcliffe.
Me.
But they
Not Radcliffe though, because he
not,
wants to.
but not Radcliffe, because he's probably a puppet for the Glazers. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
you need that. You need a new board, completely new board, people who can run a football club. Then you need to keep Ten Hag. You need
Yeah.
to Ten
100%.
Hag with whatever he wants. You need to clear out the squad, get rid of these big, highly overpaid players, and then you
Sancho.
need to start. You need to reintegrate your academy. You need to bring more players through. Like,
Well,
you
probably
can't-
the academy is not
I
great.
bring players through the academy.
Like you've had Wayne Rooney from a young age. Not that he came through the
No.
United academy, but
Look, your class of '92. That's what you
Yeah.
need. Another class of '92. I know it's probably rare you're going to get it in this modern age, but like a few players coming through your academy, like a Rashford or something, you'll be balling.
Mhm. I mean, Minor was coming through, and he does look like quality in that.
Well,
But
probably mine looks
Yeah.
good.
It's
Oh,
what
but
City
he's
do now,
obviously-
though, aren't they? City are dominating. Have you seen at the lower levels? Like they've already got it sorted on the main stage. Now they're working on their academy.
Yeah.
Got loads of
they
good
sell
players.
all their academy players though, which I don't
Yeah.
really get
They're
that.
buying loads of young players in, aren't they, for their academy? They're bringing, they're really investing in their academy now because I think
Yeah.
Brian would have said like we've won the treble, now we need to like help with English football or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they're getting the best talent from other teams, bring him into City.
Yeah.
Surround
I mean, that's kind of what we did with Garnacho. We got him
Yeah,
from Atletico Madrid.
Well, we've had Garnacho come through, but obviously he's not English born. So the proper homegrown one
Rashford.
is number 11. But obviously he had some problems. So then we have to go back to Rashford. So Rashford, realistically, is the only half-decent player we bought through the academy in the past, 10, 15 years?
Probably
Yeah.
since the class of '92, like
Yeah.
genuinely. Because we had Welbeck, like he was all right, but we had to sell him.
Yeah.
He's probably the best academy player we've had since class of '92.
Probably. It's just crazy. But again, you look at some of I can't believe we sold Imran this summer for
Who?
£1 million.
Yeah.
Bought him for 2.5 now.
Oh,
It's horrible.
Who's thought of that? You bought a player for the youth team and sold him for 2.5 million. If anyone can explain that in logical terms, I'm all ears because that for me doesn't seem like logic.
That's Glazeronomics.
You know, that's like going into Tesco saying it's a watermelon for 99p, then you go to, I don't know, Waitrose, it's £2.50 and you buy the one in Waitrose. What's the point? What's the point? Stupid. It's ridiculous.
so yeah, so we've got all that done out of the way. So we're gonna.
we've got the anger issues out the way now.
No, we've got more anger issues because VAR.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh god.
I like
Oh.
VAR.
So, as we all know, so Howard Webb come out, who's head of PGMOL, the
Yeah.
guys in charge of refereeing. He released some footage yesterday or Tuesday,
yesterday.
about like the process behind the decisions that have gone on in the season so far, and like, do you think that's a good thing? Do you think it's?
I think it's good that they're talking to us more about it. I just think the inconsistency still is the problem.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
I think it's better we hear from them than
I
we
don't-
don't hear anything.
I don't see the point in telling us after. Why is it not being said during the game? Like,
Exactly.
for example, the Akanji decision where where that goal should have been disallowed, and every City player on that pitch knew that.
Mm.
But was still stood because they were looking at the wrong thing. For me, you should be listening to what they're saying, and then we talk about it.
They should be mic'd up.
Like in rugby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, did you see when they analysed the Onana incident against Wolves? Like,
Mhm.
they gave it on the wrong player.
Yeah.
But
The referees don't know what they're doing.
the other player played for the ball, then Onana punched a different player. That's still a foul because they're both for the ball. Well, where's this?
Well, it's like last. Well, I'm going back to last season now. It's like the Brentford goal against Arsenal. Antony was quite clearly offside.
Mm.
The lines were drawn wrong, and they all admitted to that.
Yeah.
The
That's the problem.
referees in this
Technology has faults still, don't get me wrong. It's not as advanced as we saw in the World Cup, where it's like just like a radar. They've got a sensor on the player and the screen goes blue and you've got a full outline and radar of the player. We've not got that. So that's a slight fault. But the technology isn't as faulty as the referees' minds, if that makes sense.
It's who's in
How on earth can the referees go, oh, I'm a bit questioned at that, when we can all sit here as fans and go, that's obviously a foul, that's obviously a handball.
They see more than what we see if we're watching on Sky Sports, let's be honest. If you're watching on Sky or BT and it, like, we see and we can go, oh yeah, that's offside, clearly. But then they have more cameras and they can see, oh yeah, it's not offside when it's clearly onside.
Yeah.
Like,
Or they go and look at an incident on the other side of the pitch.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on here? It's
Stupid,
like, one of the weekend,
these decisions.
Garnacho's goal for me wasn't offside. But you could say it's biased, you could not. I don't think it's offside.
I think the only way you can determine that you go by the letter of the law. Every part of your body now is offside, pretty much.
Oh,
You
can't score with your arms, can you?
We said this last season. And it changed. Like we said this last season with the hands being onside, and they've changed it now, so it is the other way. I agree with it necessarily, not because of that goal. You can't score with your hand. Yes, but it's a part of your body. So if your body's in front of the line, then you're offside, man.
Yeah, but you can't use it. So why is that part of it? You
So
use your body, just not your arms.
That's always the person the other day.
Yeah.
If that was vice versa today, would you be saying, oh yeah, it should have been onside?
Well, no, of course I wouldn't.
Would you be saying like, oh yeah, it's an onside goal?
Yeah, because it's a difficult one because you can't. You're going to be pissed off either way. You're going to be pissed off either way. You're not going to win the conversation in battle because you're going to be annoyed because it's your team that's offside. But until you realise the rules are the rules, you can't change them.
No.
That's what they're saying. Like I can't magically go, oh yeah, that's onside because it's his hand. If I had it my way, I'd have it in a way that the bits you can't use, aka your hands, that wouldn't be offside for me. That Garnacho goal.
You don't remember a few seasons ago at Carrow Road, Timu Pukki scored a goal, legitimate goal because it was onside and his beard was offside. Because he had a goatee like that. That is how stupid English referees are. Rule out goals because someone's got a bigger toe than someone else. Someone's got facial hair. Someone's got more hair than another person. That's the standard of refereeing. Best league in the world. We've got referees who make planks of wood look like the brightest things on earth. You know what I mean? Stupid.
If you, I say this because I think it's true. Even if you would have scored that, I still think we would have gone on to either draw it or win it because I don't.
Not that late on though.
No,
it was really late.
The reason you won that game is because of the offside goal. Then the crowd lifted completely, and we were just backs against the wall. If that goal stands, we go out, we see it the whole game because the Emirates atmosphere has gone down completely.
I think your downfall was as soon as you brought Harry Maguire on because our fans started going, "Oh, Harry Maguire."
I think the downfall is because of that goal. It's because of the atmosphere. Atmosphere changes everything.
Yeah, but you should be.
And then we were pushed back.
It was defended anyway.
Us scoring that goal and it being offside is the reason why you won that game.
Like, did you see the comments? Was it last week about what Mike Dean said?
Oh yeah.
Where he's like, oh, protect his mate or something because it was like, apparently he was under enough duress during the game, and like he told him not to give the decision because it would have given him more grief.
Yeah.
Well, it just shows how crap our referees are in this country. Like, best league. Where's the officiating? Like, if you had the Spanish referees, the Portuguese, they wouldn't give a shit. There would be no shit. They don't care.
It's like the Champions League,
like Italian one.
When was the last time?
Pierre Pellegrini, whatever his name was. He was the guy.
Honest. When's the last time you saw a mistake in the Champions League? I don't remember one.
When City play, they don't belong.
Yeah.
Not that like where they show you it all.
The
Like
most
that they introduced last season.
Champions League was when Bellingham tackled Ederson,
yeah.
who fell
Oh,
on
yeah.
the floor like an absolute dope.
That was horrible.
Because he'd lost the ball, and they gave a foul, and that's when I think the corruption of Man City came out, because there's no way they had something dodgy hadn't gone on there. They've been pushing for years to win a Champions League, and they couldn't do it, so began to, I think, cheat a bit more. That's all I can say about that one.
And then they only went on to win it when there was no competition at all.
Yeah, like they mopped the floor.
Like
Last season was the worst Champions League campaign I've ever seen in my life.
I think it's more concerning though. We're talking about the United Arsenal side there. As annoying as that was, it's fine margins, isn't it? I think the Onana one. How many blatant, mistakes have we already seen this season? We're only a couple of weeks in, and they've got a whole team sitting in a room with loads of different angles, advising the actual on-field referee. And we're only 4 weeks in, and we've seen so many already. I think that's concerning.
Referee
The one as well.
Useless.
Well, I don't see it getting any better until we get. Oh, I don't know. Like I look down at the leagues now, and I was shocked to see in the Championship that remember that Bobby Madley?
Yeah.
He's back in it now, and I'm sat there like, mate, he got ripped out of the league because he done a crap job in the first place. How can he be getting back up?
Yeah.
And I just sit there and I go, you look at the player, you look at the people that are retiring. There's no one good coming through for referees to improve it. Like, I'm sorry, but Anthony Taylor was poor on Sunday, all game.
He was horrible for both.
Can anyone tell me a match where Anthony Taylor's had a good game? Because I can tell you the last 4 seasons he's not had one good game. FA Cup final at Chelsea Arsenal, whatever season it was, where I think Arsenal won, but they shouldn't have had to go to extra time because there was a foul or something that wasn't given on Martinez when Chelsea had scored a goal. I think it was that game. It was just like, what's going on here?
Can I just say something else that needs to be addressed? Like these added times in football, like this also goes to the incompetence of referees, because these added times, players are playing more and they're getting injured. Look at the amount of long-term injuries that have happened this season.
This was
and then they want to play more games as well with the new Champions League format and World Cup. We're just like, it's not good for the players at all.
Yeah,
this was my perspective. As soon as 8 minutes was added time after the Garnacho goal had gone in, which was offside in the end, I knew something was going to happen because there was enough time for it to happen.
So look at when we played Everton the other week. We had 8 minutes added time in the first half and 8 minutes added time in the second
16
half. We had 16. That's 106 minutes of football. Like, it's stupid. Like, I understand.
The ball isn't always in play the whole time, right? I understand that. However, the new rule of substitutions, where you allow 3 stoppages to bring on 5 subs, they take about a minute each. But we don't need 5 minutes to come out of that.
The one rule I've actually agreed with this year is the kicking the ball away. And the goalkeeper taking their time. I agree with that, because that used to annoy the shit out of me. Like, to be honest, I was sat there and I was like, how did it take 60 minutes for Onana to get booked?
Well, yeah.
I was sat there like, the amount of time he was taking to do a kick, do you know what I mean? And it wasn't even him kicking it. It was
that Onana got booked. I'll give you a clue. He's a number 5. I can sit here and talk nonsense about him all day because he's not a good defender. But imagine having someone on your team getting your teammate booked because you want to take a goal kick, then you want a keeper to do it, and then you stand there and watch Onana. It's just like, what is going on? But again, that's irrelevant to the point. I don't rate Maguire. So
going past all this, then it's like the first month of the league's actually over now. So how do you think the league has gone on overall? Have you enjoyed it? Like, not being biased, or like, has there been any shocks for you so far?
I think it's been enjoyable because the teams I thought, they're going to be relegation threatened, who have performed. Palace being one of them. Right, they lost to Arsenal, bit unlucky there. They've lost other games, but they played well in some games, and I think they're not saying they're a dark horse, but I think they've actually been a decent team to watch this season.
Right, scary.
Brighton looked bad. Lucky against West Ham. David Moyes handball, long ball, through ball. It's just that happens.
West Ham look good. Everyone, there's teams that look.
The only teams that haven't shown up, and we expected it, were Luton, Sheffield United, Everton,
Burnley.
Yeah. But Burnley
expected it from Luton, though, did they?
To be honest, Burnley have probably had the hardest start of everyone this year.
Mhm.
I think
They had to play Luton in between the City and Villa game, so that probably would have been a win there. But then you look at it and go, they've got 0-0 from.
0 wins, 0 points.
But I don't think they played that bad.
No.
Like, there was points against Hughes, they could have probably scored
Oh,
again.
yeah, definitely.
Spurs, they could have scored.
Considering we had Robin Olsen in goal as well.
Yeah.
So,
But I think I've really enjoyed watching West Ham and Brighton this year.
Yeah.
I think West Ham,
don't mind.
Ward-Prowse has been unreal. I don't know
Yeah.
how he hasn't got an England call up as well. That's
West Ham have spent the Declan Rice money in the right areas.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
if we all go around, so who would you be your player of the month if you had like one player?
Okay.
Ward-Prowse.
The Ward-Prowse?
He's not even been nominated, has he?
No.
But I think he's been really impressive. He missed the first game as well, didn't he? He was still at
Yeah.
Southampton.
Yeah.
But I think they've won every game since he's come in, haven't they? He scored or assisted in each of the games.
Oh, he was brilliant against Chelsea on his debut as well.
Yeah, yeah. Set pieces as well for a massive side like West Ham. He's so dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be biased, but I am going to be biased. Rice has been class since he's come in.
I think Saka's been better than Rice.
No, I think Rice is.
I've
Rice
not been too impressed with him. Like, he just looks like a steady Eddie, but that's what they say about Casemiro. So if they do the job and do it well enough that you don't notice him, they're a
they
good
don't
player.
get the recognition. So
Yeah.
a defence midfielder.
I think, yeah, it's either Rice or I'd probably say Diaby.
Yeah, he's been alright.
He's been good.
To me, I'll probably go for a Wanyi from Forest. I think he's been outstanding. I think Forest in general, they've been brilliant. I think they look like a team that's settled. They've got like a squad now, not just a million players.
Mm.
Like, I know it's not about 20 on deadline day, but the players they've settled in and they're playing like a team.
But you say they bought like 20 on deadline day. They bought quality.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Look, they've improved. But then also instead of a Wanyi, I'd probably go for like a Diaby if I was being biased. Or yeah, like Will said, Ward-Prowse. I think they've been most impressive. Or even I think Ferguson's coming to life from Brighton as well.
Oh,
Yeah, he's so good.
quality.
Out of all them, I'd probably go for Wanyi because I think he's brilliant.
They've had tough games as well, Forest, haven't they? Arsenal, United, Chelsea, I believe.
Yeah.
Anthony Elanga hype.
And Sheffield United, they beat Sheffield United in the last minute as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
this would.
Yeah. Brian?
I think I'd have to go James Maddison personally for what he's done for Spurs. Like from a team that's had no midfield creativity for like years, he's just a spark there. I think he's been incredible. Also, a little honourable. I think Bassuma's been very good as well.
I think Spurs in general, I think they've been my team of the month. Like Spurs have been brilliant.
Because no one expected it at all.
No.
Big
not
Angle
at all.
will.
Do we have to? I don't want to listen about this.
My
We
player-
all know
I'm
that
not
we're
playing
losing
for-
2 weeks at the Emirates, so let's not worry about it, eh? Cool.
Just your player of the month then, Tom?
So for me, it's out of 3 players. It's Maddison, Bowen, or Iwani. But I just want to say they've all been good. But I think Bowen's probably the one who's shown most potential because no one expects anything from West Ham. But he's proper he's been playing well up front when he's been through the middle. Scored that goal overnight against Luton with his head, and no one expects him to score headers. He's been a link-up player. But part of that's from Ward-Prowse, part of it's from Antonio having a good season. Good start to the season. But what I like so far about Player of the Month is obviously Ward-Prowse wasn't included, but Will's mentioned him. Look at the number of English talents that we're now seeing as Player of the Month. English Premier League and its English talents. That does well for England's future. That's
None of
what
them
I
get-
Called up though today.
Yeah, none of them get called up.
But hopefully they can carry it on. They might see an England squad, and someone like Bowen would do an absolute job off the bench there. If Saka gets knackered, you can bring Bowen on, and he's a different dynamic. Maddison is now playing at a club that can be in the top 4 with the way things are going, and he's better than Mason Mount, who will probably get included, but hopefully not get played because Maddison's now playing well.
Yeah.
The league has lost Kane, right? But Kane's never going to get dropped from that England team.
And he's doing already
But
at Bayern.
there's no other players that you can now go, an English talent might pop through as a good centre forward. And you go, wait, where's this guy come from? He could be an heir to Kane. if he gets
He
given
could
a chance.
have and switch to England, or you never know. But I don't think he would. But he could switch to England because I think he does have better option.
But it's just nice to see English talents getting nominated for things, because a lot of the time in the league recently, as much as they're great players, there's a lot of foreign talents coming through, and it's great to see him. But as a nation, when we want to see our country win things, and we look at our team and we think, well, there's players there that shouldn't be there, but they're there because they play for a top 6 club. Yet there's talents in the Championship and abroad who are English, but they can't get in the big teams in the Prem because it's just like the foreign
so-called top 6 that are playing week in, week out, doing good, and they don't get called up. Like, I'm not being biased because I'm a Villa fan, but Ezri Konsa, I think he's better than half the defenders have been called up. I think he's been brilliant for us this season. Jacob Ramsey, I know he's injured, but just led, like, a lot of these under 21s are not playing for the big 6 teams anymore. They're playing like in the lower bits of the league.
Yeah.
And they deserve to be called up. But give them a chance, like, and then like.
Oh, I'm done.
Exactly.
I've done in friendlies and the qualifying sessions we already flew to try players who you think, well, what are they doing there?
Exactly.
Championship, I think they're actually quite good players.
Ukraine, Scotland now. It's the perfect opportunity. Get some new blood in. Get them ready for England. Get them playing.
Exactly.
Not just I'll put Maguire because he's the best we have. No, he's not.
He's not.
I'm better than him. I'm not a mathematic.
Did England win the Euro under 21s a few years ago? A few months ago. Or am I just losing the plot? You know what I mean? Why are these players not getting included? They've won a trophy. These players that we've got at the moment haven't won a trophy.
So it's favouritism. I honestly hope he leaves after the Euros because he's going to kill English football. I don't like him.
Well, there's talk of Pep coming in afterwards, isn't there?
He won't come in. Pep won't.
I wouldn't want that.
Get Graham Potter in for England. Get him in. I'd have him for England.
I'd love Potter for England.
Potter for England. He works with young players well. No. Take out what he's done with Chelsea. Don't judge him because of Chelsea, because that was a mess.
Pochettino's doing
That's not his fault.
Exactly, like, don't judge him on Chelsea. Judge him on Brighton. What he's done with Brighton. What he's done with other teams. How he's worked with young players. Potter can do a job for England.
Definitely. I think he's a good coach. I think
just the whole thing. That was a mess
as well.
Every good manager has a bad season, and he had that at Chelsea where the club was a mess. Potter will do a job for England.
Yep. Okay.
Right, we're going on to goal of the month, boys.
Oh, I know what my goal of the month is.
I know what mine is.
I've got mine.
If we all have the same one, then that's when you know it's a good goal. That's all I'm saying. Who wants to start?
I'm going to start. Saka's goal against Forest. Don't look at me like that.
Right, fair enough. Okay.
I've got Hamer's. I forgot.
That's what I was waiting for. Hamer's goal was unbelievable. And I
Hammer, yeah.
Leicester, when he was still at Coventry, and I said to my dad, I said, watch out, in the next week, this guy's going to get snapped up by a Premier League club. All right, I didn't expect to be Sheffield United, but he's a talented player. And that goal was just out of this world. Proper sexy goal.
He had no right to score it, the way it just like... It was placed beautifully.
Owns Mount, in my opinion, but there we are.
Well...
I've actually gone for Saka as well. I just think it's such a nice goal. Just aesthetically pleasing. I love those goals where they just bend right into the corner. So I've gone for that one.
Mr. Dodd?
So I'm going to go for Szoboszlai against us.
Mum?
Okay.
I watched it back.
All I heard yesterday.
It was a striking arm.
Lucky, it was a deflection.
Yeah, but it was, looking back on it, like, I'm a mature man. I've seen past it. I'm not being biased. Like, I hate Liverpool, but Szoboszlai, it was quality.
Okay.
I really liked it. It's like,
I respect
that. The box, just hit it.
I respect that.
Nice peaches.
Yeah.
Goalkeeper had no chance, but I'll do all three of them. Well, yours two especially were both brilliant goals, and I just want it to be different,
I feel like the Premier League will, like, I said to Josh today, why we've got these international breaks. Let's get past them. I looked further on, and we've got a winter break in January after Christmas, and I'm sat there like, why have we got one of these?
Probably need it with all these players getting injured.
Well,
They should have played more.
I'm not looking forward to coming back because I've got to go to Goodison Park, and we don't win there very often.
When was the last time you won, though?
Wenger, Ozil and Sanchez.
Wenger.
2015.
Jesus Christ.
Jeez.
And then we play Spurs at home the week after.
Damn.
That'd be a tight game as
0
well.
points.
Yeah.
Have you got Brighton and Brentford?
We've got Brighton, Bayern, someone else beginning with B,
Brentford.
Palace,
Brentford.
and then
Have you got Palace twice because you got them in the cup and then you got them in
yeah,
Mhm.
we've
We're
got a 0 point. We've got a
Burnley.
one thing coming.
Burnley away.
Who do you come back to?
We've got Palace at home. We've got is it European after Palace at home?
Yeah.
We've got some Polish team away. Not Polish. Is it Polish?
Yeah,
We've got
Legia
Legia
Warsaw.
Warsaw away.
Yeah.
We've got Chelsea away. So
Should be nice.
winnable games. Winnable games.
I would like, if we're really going to be in this title race again, which I don't feel like there is one anyway, but we may as well make it interesting for as long as possible. We've got to win against Everton and Spurs.
Mm.
Hopefully
If
something
you
got
drop,
Liverpool as
if
well.
you need above 4
I
points.
said to my dad on Sunday, if we would have drawn to you, City would have won the league already.
They've already won the league.
Well,
I
yeah.
think they've already won it.
It's just boring, man. Like, why can't someone just, as much as I envy him, I just snap Haaland, for fuck's sake. Just snap him,
Get
man.
him gone.
There's no need for
He's
him.
also baller. It's just like they can keep winning. They've got talent coming out of their arsehole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, we can just have it. We can all wish for a Spurs double this year.
Right.
And
Wait,
boys,
boys.
I feel like that's a good place to end. And
Oh,
it's
we haven't done manager yet, fella.
hey,
Managers.
managers. Sorry, forgot about
And
managers.
Postecoglou.
Yeah. Big
Yeah,
Ange.
agreed.
Big Ange.
He's got to be up there, up the Australian football.
Yeah. Big Ange. Ange Ball's
People were slating him before he joined, saying, "Oh, he's not done much." But don't forget, this guy actually nearly outperformed France with Australia. So he's a good coach.
Or
Moyes had a good start.
Deserby.
Moyes up there, yeah.
Not Guardiola, like that's just a cheat.
Oh,
We
that's
we
different,
get
isn't it?
we won 4 in a row, but I'm not being funny. Like,
It's between Arteta, Guardiola.
what's Arteta done?
Don't know.
We're against Fulham.
Don't know where
Bottled
it is.
it.
I've gone for Klopp. What about Klopp?
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
they
Do you not think they've got an
underrated.
underrated
He
start
drew
at
against
Liverpool?
Chelsea. That's not good enough.
Yeah,
Not
but
lucky
they won
against,
everything
not
else.
lucky against Bournemouth. They got lucky against Newcastle. They drew with Chelsea. To be fair, played quite well against Villa.
Yeah,
I
the
wasn't
back-
watching that
Not a
much
good
because I was
start.
watching F1, but I knew that they did play quite well there. But
I think they're on like a 15 game unbeaten run or something like that from last season as well.
Really?
Oh,
Good.
Moyes. What about Moyes? They've had a really good start, obviously, West Ham, haven't they?
Moyes is because he surprised like everyone.
Everyone expects him to
not
go.
right
in it.
players, to be fair. I think we should possibly give a shout out to the to Bournemouth manager as well, because I think a lot of us wrote Bournemouth off even without the signings because it's not a massive club, but
Is that
his
Iraola?
manager's he's not doing too bad, to be fair. I honestly thought he'd be bottom of his table because this coach has been pretty poor at other clubs he's been at, but he was unlucky against Liverpool, to be honest.
Didn't he do well at Valencourt though? Didn't he get him promoted and got him to like European football?
Yeah, he got him in a solid place in
Yeah.
La Liga.
And then it started going wrong for him, didn't it?
But he's building like a youthful team at Bournemouth. isn't he?
Yeah.
I think he's
He's
one
got-
to keep an eye on.
Yeah, you've got to give them a bit of time as well as a new manager, of course.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's so impressive what Spurs are doing already.
You know, if we're going to say, like, if there's one standout manager I think is doing pretty poorly at the moment, it will be Dyche. The guy's experienced and he looks like he's never coached a football team. Some of the
Yeah, but
football's
that's
not playing.
at the moment, to be honest. Like, let's
Yeah.
be honest, Dyche hasn't really been backed.
But they'll still beat us in
Yeah.
a week's time.
I think Howe's struggling. I think Eddie Howe's struggling. I think that's
Yeah.
one side.
I think
So far,
I think Newcastle's
I
a bit
think he'll be the
starstruck
first
by
manager
European
to do it.
football. I generally think Newcastle is starstruck with the concept of being in Europe again. And I think
Yeah.
there's players there like Joe Linton who can do a job, but they're not consistently good like a Tonali. And I think a loss of a Tonali or someone gets injured like Isak, they're in trouble again. Because there's still, I'd say, mid-table standard players there at a club who are now trying to compete for trophies, basically.
yeah.
Also, I don't think that midfield works at all. There's not enough creativity there.
No, not at all.
You know,
Like, yeah,
so,
you've got pressure. There's not a DM and there's not a 10. It's just 3
Have
8s
you-
complete.
it's like every time they take Tonali off, they start to crumble.
Mm.
Like the Tonali off
He's
against Liverpool, they were crap. I think they took him off against Brighton. I know they were like 2-0 down, but they got even worse, I thought.
Yeah.
And then
Tonali's a ball.
yeah, like Tonali's like the glue in the midfield. Like Tonali's brilliant, but
I've rated him
without
for a few years, to be fair, when he was at Brescia, because you could just see when you watch highlights of football, because obviously we all watch highlights of random games because we all like football. And there's some standout plays, and I thought Tonali, I said, this guy looks like, you know, he plays like Pirlo. He's just a bit more boisterous. He's good on the ball. He's got an eye for the pass. He can score, but he works hard. And I think he's not saying he's unlucky to be at a team like Newcastle, because obviously they've got aspirations, but I think I would have stayed at AC Milan if I were him, but there we are.
He didn't really have a
still a
choice.
work,
Did it?
No.
Newcastle's still a work in progress. So I think if they struggle, Howe will be gone, and then they'll get some world class manager in. But they are a work in progress. Should we end it there then, lads? Like, we've gone through a lot today, haven't we?
No.
Yeah. So if you're watching this, be sure to give us a like and share it with your friends, share it around. Don't forget to follow our Twitter and our other social medias, and just hit a subscribe to see more content. And we'll see you all in the next video.